Welcome to Tamer Bowling Video Ball Reviews. For all your bowling needs, check out our partner, PerfectAimBowling.com. Today we're testing the new Storm Intense Fire. We're testing on a medium 40-foot house shot and an NCAA 38-foot sport shot. For value, we gave the Intense Fire a B. It offers a nice balance. With its different reaction than the Intense, what it loses for some bowlers, it gains for others. So overall, I give it a decent value score. First impressions, the Storm Intense Fire is smooth, not quite as buttery as the Code Red, but I think that's a good thing, and it's got a bit more oomph. It smells like cinnamon, lava spice. Reminds me of one of my favorite balls of all time, the Storm Trauma. Overall, I gave the Intense Fire a B on house shot and a B on sport shot. Interestingly, the Storm Intense Fire is somewhat of a contradiction. For the characteristics that I like about it, somebody will not like. It's a bit confounding, but you can make your own judgment as we discuss. The fire is smoother than the original Intense, with similar clean motion through the fronts and into the mids. The core is rolly but not snappy. I never considered it a snappy motion in the original either. But side by side, you do see the difference in down lane punch, where the Intense is more down lane while the Fire is smoother. You would expect that smoothness to come at the expense of length, but they're about the same, and that's where the confusion comes in. Normally, Storm hybrid cover stocks are more than the sum of their parts, and I don't see that with the R3S hybrid. Everyone saw the Intense Fire as just a little less ball than the Intense. That said, I really like the motion. With me up first, it was pretty easy to find the pocket. The ball has a nice slot to the pocket on the house shot, length, and good motion down lane. It doesn't feel labored, just smooth with a slow but building punch to the pins. It's still a rolly core, so misses out really don't recover well. Misses in were better, but can also be tricky with the shiny cover wanting to flip a bit. You've heard me say it before, but I would touch the surface to take away some of that out-of-box sensitivity. As a lefty, I like it to read the mids more. I think that's going to be a good sport shot ball, but more on that later. Sean was next, and it took him a little bit to figure this one out. The time it took was simply about realizing this ball's a little less overall on this shot than his Intense. He fought himself until he found this shot just outside the third arrow. Yes, seems a bit direct for him, especially considering he played the matchup Black Pearl inside the fourth arrow. The ball really looks like it's revving up and wanting to do something, but it does it later than you would expect and smoother than you would expect. The original Intense also has that huge core rolling feel, but you can see it plays stronger overall than the Intense Fire. Bryan was next with the Intense Fire. Again, he saw that it's a little less than he expected in terms of board coverage. He had to draw closer to the edge of friction, however, had to be really careful he didn't put it into the friction too early. Too early, and it's either going to puke or not make it back, or not hold on as it reacts too aggressively. He had to straddle the friction line a bit, so his line was fairly direct, going 8 at the arrows to 7 down lane. With the Intense, he could throw it straight into the dry and get that strong curl bounce to drive through the pocket. Dave tested the Intense Fire and he made easy work of the house shot, to be honest. The Intense Fire just seemed to be a nice blend of roll and down lane motion. Miss in and it skids a bit more to hold the high hard one, miss out a bit and it starts to roll and make its way smoothly back to the pocket. Sometimes that shot can be tricky with carry, but not for Dave with this ball. And frankly, not for me either. Finally, there's Guy, and you can watch a couple of shots from him and you see what he does to the lanes. Generally, he likes some surface, as despite his rev rate, his speed can have him blow through the break point occasionally, but he made quick work of his test session. For the sport shot, I actually think the smooth characteristic that was somewhat confounding on the house shot is perfect for sport. Again, as a lefty, I need surface to control the mids. Didn't change the surface for the videos, but you can see it as being playable. It's got a reliable motion. It's got the roll I can see using. I can see it being a touch stronger on this shorter pattern with some surface, but I think very playable. With shine, it wants to go too long and then try to come way up the hill, which it does somewhat deceptively well. Bryan found that what made it tough for him on house is what made it a good ball for him on sport. The ball's smooth, and he was able to see good control off the back end. So he just had to get lined up and could funnel it there without worrying about over-under, even with the shine. The intense is much stronger down lane for him. Then there's Guy, who generally saw a decent look, and it was smooth and controllable, but a touch of surface would keep the intense fire from going through the break point or looking like it wants to. So final thoughts. The intense fire offers something interesting. While I'm not gushing straight away, I do like it and the feeling grows. It's more like a fine acquired taste. I gushed about the code red initially only to find that while I absolutely love the motion, I did struggle to find the right pattern to carry with it. It turned out to be the quote safe ball to keep me close to the pocket. The intense fire is similar but a bit more punchy, so I'm tempered, but certainly never felt like I couldn't carry with this ball, which is saying a lot. One thing I will add, the intense fire has an understandable and reliable motion. So while it might sound like it's not the biggest hooking ball, once you're in the right zone, the ball makes you feel confident with it. You don't feel like it'll cheat you. It's deceptively consistent and keeps you in play. There's something to be said for a ball that makes you feel like you can just throw it and you'll be okay, rather than having to split boards to get a reaction you want. The intense fire is a ball where you feel like it can hide your mistakes, and you can get on it or miss, but its smoothness will blend it out. Just get it close.
I need to tell you what Tamer Elbaga reviews. Yeah.